Tyrone Bowman live. According to BBC News, the U.S. Agency for International Development, known as USAID, has officially closed its doors after President Donald Trump gradually dismantled the agency over its allegedly wasteful spending. More than 80% of all the agency's programs were canceled as of March, and on Tuesday, the remainder were formally absorbed by the State Department. The shuttering of U.S. aid, which administered aid to for the U.S. government, the world's largest provider, has been newly criticized by former President Barack Obama and George W. Bush. These aid cuts would cause more than 14 million additional deaths by 2020, according to a warning published by researchers in the Lancet Medical Journal. The authors of the Lancet report called the numbers, quote, staggering, end quote, and projected that a third of those at risk of premature deaths were children. A State Department official said the study used incorrect assumptions and insisted that the U.S. would continue to administer aid in a more efficient way, the AFP news agency reported. Founded in 1961, USAID previously employed some 10,000 people, two-thirds of whom worked overseas, according to the Congressional Research Service. The controversial cuts began early in Trump's second term when billionaire and former presidential advisor Elon Musk was tasked with shrinking the federal workforce. The move was widely condemned by humanitarian organizations around the world. Among the programs that were curbed were efforts to provide prosthetic limbs to soldiers injured in Ukraine, to clear land miles in various countries, and to contain the spread of Ebola in Africa. On Wednesday morning, the agency's website continued to display a message saying that all U.S. aid direct hire personnel globally had been placed on administrative leave from the 23rd of February. They were fired. Secretary of State Marco Rubio previously said that the remaining 1,000 programs after the cuts would be administered under his department. I don't believe a word of it, because these people lied too much. Quote, under the Trump administration, we will finally have a foreign funding mission in America that prioritizes our national interests, end quote, he wrote in a post on Substack. See, just what I said. And all the money will go toward American projects. Trump has repeatedly said he wants overseas spending to be closely aligned with his America First approach. Bush and Obama delivered their messages of condemnation in a video conference they hosted with U2 singer Bono for thousands of members in the USAID community. Bush, a fellow member of Trump's Republican Party, focused on the impact of cuts to an AIDS and HIV program that was started by his administration and subsequently credited with saving 25 million lives. You've shown the great strength of America through your work, and that is your good heart, Bush told USAID workers in a recorded statement, according to U.S. media. It is in our national interest that 25 million people who would have died now live. I think it is, and so do you, quote, close quote. Meanwhile, Obama, a member of the opposition Democratic Party, affirmed the work that USAID employees had already done. Gutting U.S. aid is a travesty, and it's a necessary and a tragedy. It's a travesty and a tragedy, because it's some of the most important work happening anywhere in the world. Quote, close quote. Obama was quoted as saying, longtime humanitarian advocate Bono spoke about the millions of people who he said could die because of the cuts. They called you crooks when you were the best of us, he told attendees of the video conference. USAID was seen as integral to the global aid system. After Trump's cuts were announced, other countries followed suit with their own reductions, including the UK, France, and Germany. Last month, the United Nations said it was dealing with the deepest funding cuts ever to hit the international humanitarian sector. You know, gentlemen, something sinister is about to happen in this nation. We thought we've seen the worst, haven't seen anything yet. Darkness is hovering above America. And I'm going to have a lot to say about that in a separate video. Never surrender. Never quit. Thank you for watching.